Well, let's start at what we know, right? We know it's what? X to the 6 is the first term. And then what? 5. X to the 5th y, right? And then 10. X to the 4th y squared. Am I right so far? Or yeah, there's a 6. That's right, I'm backwards, right? My fault. 6 here. 15 here, my bad. There's one row off. Then we got 20.
What is that y to the what?
X cubed, y squared. Then 15. X squared, y to the 4th. I'm going to run out of room. So if you ever run out of room like that and you go to your next line, that's fine. Just keep it going. All right, so 6. X, y to the 5th. And then a y to the 6th. Okay, we should all know that because the numbers didn't change from yesterday, right? The only thing we don't know is how the signs work. Anybody got an idea? Corey.
Any term that the y has negative, or like an odd exponent is minus.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I don't really know what you said.
You're correct, but you're not. Let me think about this. There's an easier way to think about it. Okay, you're not wrong, but there's an easier way to say it. Okay. The negative signs are on all the y's with odd powers. Easier way.
It's back and forth, so it's like positive, negative, positive, negative.
There you go. They alternate.
Yeah.
They alternate.
Does it matter what it starts with?
Yes.
Does it have to start with the opposite?
Always starts with a plus.
Always starts with the
Okay.
But if it's
Because
negative, it's just
because go back to how we figured out this was x to the 6th, right? All your first x multiplications, x times x times x times x times x times x, those are all positive, which means this would be positive, right? Okay. So you always start positive. Now, after that, they work out so that they alternate from there. Okay, so we have a minus here, and then a plus, then a minus, then a plus, then a minus, and then a plus. And that's how your signs work. They alternate, okay? Now, you always start with a plus. Okay? You don't always necessarily end with a plus. Okay? This one can be a negative. This one's positive because you FOIL it out 6 times, right? Negative times negative times negative times negative times negative times negative. That's even, that's 6. So you end up positive. If this was to the 7th, this y to the 7th would be negative.
So when it has.
Okay? Your only sign that'll ever be different is this middle.
So it always will alternate?
And it always alternates afterwards, yes.
If it's a negative.
If it's a negative, right. If it's a positive, they're all positive, done. The bottom box right now. Okay? It's 5 main bullet points as far as things you need to understand, okay? First off, if you have a binomial expansion of whatever it is to the nth power, point 1, there are n plus 1 terms. So whatever your exponent is, add 1 to it, that's how many terms you get. Okay? And most of this we already talked about yesterday. Alright? N here, this exponent, is the exponent of a in the first term and b in the last term. That's like the one we just did with the sixths. Okay? X to the 6 kicked us off, y to the 6 finish us off. Alright, that's what that says. Alright? This one's important. In successive terms, the exponent of a decreases by 1, and the exponent of b increases by 1. Okay, pay attention to what a and b are. A is first, b is second, right? So look at the one you had. That's x and y. So in your example, in successive terms, the exponent of x decreased by 1, right? We went from 6 to 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 to 0. And then y increased by 1, from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. Okay, make sense? This one right here is probably your most important of things you don't know. Or maybe you haven't realized, we haven't talked about yet. The sum of the exponents in each term is n. That exponent that you start with. Okay? That actually turns out to be fairly important to us as we move into the second type of problems with this. And the last bullet, the coefficients are symmetric, in case you haven't picked up on the with the triangle, how the triangle works, right? It kind of mirrors. Once you get to that middle term, it reflects back down the other way. Okay? You know, your 1, 5, your 1, 6, 10, or 1, 6, 15, 20, 20, whatever, 15, 6, 1. Okay? X plus y to the 9th. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and let you guys do that one. All right? Be careful. Remember what I said about that program? If it gets that big, you have to kind of be careful with how you write it out or how you use the calculator to make sure that you don't like lock yourself out of it, okay? Because you don't want to keep on doing it and keep on doing it and keep on doing it. So.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
X to the 9th plus 9 x to the 8th y plus 36 x to the 7th y squared plus 84 x to the 6th y to the 3rd plus 126 x to the 5th y to the 4th plus 126 x to the 4th y to the 5th plus 84 x cubed y to the 6th plus 36 x squared y to the 7th plus 9x y to the 8th plus y to the 9th.
Bingo.
Whew!
Do we have to write all of that?
Yes.
Ooh, is that can't be the bell.
That's
It's not.
two.
That's C2.
Ooh,
And there's another.
because these classes today feel like they're so short.
Okay? So, be aware. Now, yes, these answers are going to be long, but think about how much work you are actually doing.
No.
Not a lot.
Yeah, really not.
You just
Okay.
have
You
to
just
make
have
sure
to know
you
the
have to.
x's go down and the y's go up.
Exactly. You pay attention to what your variables do with your exponents. You use your calculator to get the right numbers. You write them out. Not terrible. Okay?
Alright.
So right now, not awful.
Oh no.
Everybody okay?
He said right now.
Everybody hold on tight. Everybody good up here? Got all 10 terms? Great. Now what?
Oh no.
I know we have to-
Okay, Pascal's triangle for a fourth power binomial goes what?
1, 4, 6, 4.
1, 4, 6, 4, and 1. Okay? Now, let's do these term by term. Okay? And let's start with your x's because that's what we know. We have 1x to the 4th. Okay, your next sign will be what?
Minus.
Minus, very good catch. Okay, we know we have 4 and x to the 3rd. Plus,
6.
we'll have 6, x to the 3rd.
Second.
Sorry, second. Minus 4x
4.
plus 1. Okay? Now, that's everything but not including
The what?
the 4. Okay?
You just multiply the big number by 4?
Not just 4, though.
4 to the power.
4 to whatever power it should be.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Right.
Because think about this.
Oh, so
Instead
the
of being y to the, instead of this being x to the 3rd, y to the 1st, instead of this being x to the 2nd, y to the 2nd, it's going to be 4 now.
So the 4x is the y, so it'd be, right there it'd be times 4 to the 4th.
Yep.
And then,
So your 4 goes like this. So you start, and here's how I recommend handling this. Once that second one becomes a number, and that's the one that will. Okay, the second one. I'll keep that one as a number. Start at your n. Okay? 4. You guys see that? Not really. Let's do red. 4 to the 4th power times 4 to the 3rd power. I'm going to run out of space. iPad magic. There we go. Times 4 to the 2nd. Times 4 to the 1st. And just so we're all on the same page. Times 4 to the 0.
I hate how easy it is, but how hard it is at the same time.
It's a lot going up here. Okay? Now, your last step is to clean all that up because you have 3 things being multiplied together, right? You have the 1 here times the x to the 4th times the 4 to the 0. You have this 4 times the x cubed times the 4. Put these numbers together. Okay? Get this one nice line. All right, Ossoff,
Alright, I got it.
hit it.
X to the fourth minus 16x to the third plus 96x to the second minus 256x plus 256.
Perfect. So once your coefficient changes from from a letter to a variable to a number, your coefficients, as far as Pascal's triangle goes, aren't the ones that show up. Okay, they are used, but they don't show up. Okay. Okay. Do your x's like we said. Do your x's first. Okay. X to the fifth. As you get better with it, you can kind of start shortcutting your way through, all right? And once you understand like what you're trying to do, the numbers, and the way they all work and everything. So x to the fifth, let's move it down here so I get room. Next sign is going to be a minus. All right, now, your 1/2 starts coming into play, right? Let's get Pascal's triangle for 5 rows, though. What is it? Should be what, 1, 5?
Oh, 1, 5,
10, 10, 5, 1. Okay. So you have negative 5 x to the fourth. And then if you want to go through it one time and just put the 1/2 like that, you know, just kind of keep it in line, get it lined up, ready to go for a next step.
Where did you get the fourth from?
This fourth power comes from 5, x is going down, 5 to 4.
Oh, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah.
Alright,
Next sign plus, next coefficient's a 10, x is to the third, 1/2 is now to the second. Okay, so see how your answer looks a lot like how it used to be with two variables, except now you have 1/2 and you have a little more cleanup to do afterwards. Okay, that's the only major difference. Minus 10, x is squared, and whoops, and 1/2 is now to the third. Next sign is plus 5x 1/2 is to the fourth minus. Now see how we talked about how the second sign could be one or the other. This one it's a minus with. All right, so 1/2 to the fifth.
So, how do you know which?
Harris.
Usually odds are like
Mhm.
negative and positive.
Mhm. Evens are positive, yeah. Tennis.
So, how do you know when to put subtraction and addition sign?
Whenever you have a minus in your binomial, you start with the first term being positive, second term being negative, and you alternate down from there. Yes, just alternate from that. Okay. So now you if you know until you're comfortable with it fully, you might have to write it out twice. Okay, but other than that, I mean, you're just hanging tight with it. So x to the fifth minus 5 times 1/2 is 5/2. X to the fourth plus 1/2 squared is 1/4. Times 10 is 10/4. Reduce that, 5/2.
So you combine like terms there?
Just clean up the terms themselves.
Okay.
All right. Minus 1/2 cubed is 8, or 1/8, which gives you 10/8. Reduce 10/8 to 5/4. X squared. Plus, that ends up being 5/16. X minus 1/32. And that's your final answer.
So do you just write the last number or the whole thing?
Whole thing.
So when David said 1 over negative 32, you just knew he had.
I'll just ask, right, then you assume the rest are right, yeah. Okay. So, there haven't been directions yet, and that's partially my fault because I don't really write directions too often in PowerPoint slides. But these will say expand, okay? Expand them out. Foil them out. Right at the whole line. That's what they'll say. They'll say expand. Now, the nice part is this. On a test, quiz, whatever, I'm only going to ask you to do a full expansion once, maybe twice. Because I can also ask you these. Okay? I want you to find specific terms now. Okay? So now you're going to find the 11th or the 5th term of x plus y to the 11th. So you're finding one term, not all 12 of them. Okay? And once you go to this, there's some certain things you want to kind of pay attention to. All right? First off, the exponent is what? 11, okay? So, just because it didn't happen here, but I could potentially ask this and it cross with your head. How many terms are there in an 11th power expansion?
12.
There's 12, okay? So if I say find the 12th term of x plus y to the 11th, don't freak out. Because it's going to be that y to the 11th power, okay? So don't freak out if I ask you for the term that's 1 greater than the exponent. Some people would. Okay?
It's just the x and y.
Right.
Okay.
Okay? So here we want the 5th term. Now let's go through our triangle. What's your 5th number on your 11 power?
330.
Is it 330? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 330. Looks great. Okay.
Can you show me how you do that?
Now, this goes kind of back to that box that we had this morning. Or not this morning, earlier today. Okay? Different things about it. Now, the first term.
I got it.
Okay? First term would be x to the what?
7.
The first term
Oh, x.
is x to the 11th.
So you just count down.
And then you go down from there to 5,
Which is 7.
which will be 7. Okay? Right? First term would be 11, second term would be 10, third term would be 9, fourth term would be 8, fifth term would be 7. And last time I checked, 12 minus 5 is 7. So that's why you have to do your terms, not your exponent. Does that make sense to everybody?
I'm so happy I'm
Okay.
learning so much.
That's just the answer. Or
No, because
It's y to
Four.
because these two have to add to 11. Okay? So you take your exponent, you add 1 to it, because you have 12 terms. You figure out that coefficient using your triangle. You go exponent minus the term you're trying to find. That's your first variable's exponent. Make those two equal the exponent itself. That's your second one. So this one is 330 x to the 7th y to the 4th. Bless you. I think it was Gundy, I'm not sure though. Okay? Does that make sense?
Pretty easy.
Okay? Not terrible.
That's it.